Well, welcome back to another episode of the All Four Downs podcast featuring from the Four Downs Three Counts production. You can visit our website, fourdowns3counts.com, and much more. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Facebook, whether it's All Four Downs or find out Four Downs Three Counts, wherever you listen to your favorite podcast platform. It is week 8 of the college football. And wow, let me tell you, I got nothing but a packed lineup for you. Big games, big firings, and big time predictions. So let's break it down one down at a time, shall we? Yeah, let's go. Let's start with first down. And you can see here, or you can hear me out. My top four games that I want to talk about is no other than USC defeating Michigan 31-13. They're in the Big Ten and they're making a big statement right now at the middle of the college football season, right? They're 5-1, 3-1 in the Big Ten. Also, Michigan falling for their first loss in the Big Ten, but that is it's a lot, especially for Michigan because is going to be more likely the second season in a row that Michigan may not get into the Big Ten championship. As for USC, they're in a good state right now, right? But the Trojans are showing more and more that they do belong in the Big Ten and being contenders. Move on to Indiana, who continues to shock the nation, upsetting Oregon 30-20, and especially being at Oregon and the way they've won. Look, this game was neck to neck, 20-20, but at the end, the Indiana, the Hoosiers, man, they have resilience, perseverance, and we can honestly say they're no longer sleepers. They are legitimate Big Ten contenders. Uh, Again, Indiana beating Oregon 30-20. Oklahoma, the Sooners losing to Texas. It was a Red River rivalry. Excuse me. Texas dominated the game. I mean, what can I say, man? Like Oklahoma, they were number 6 in the AP poll, and they had a shot, man. They had a shot, and they didn't take it. They only scored 2 field goals. They were shut out in the second half, and Texas started out slow, and they scored 20 points in the second half to seal the deal. 23-6, the final score. Is Texas back? That is the big question, or is it just a lot of noise going on over there in Texas? And lastly, Utah Utes, baby. Woo! If you want to make a big statement, this is the one. Utah rolled through Arizona State 42-10. The Utes are hitting stride at a perfect time. Oh, yeah. So, and was no other perfect. That is not so perfect. Is no other than the coaching firings going on as I discussed the coaching carousel here. Second down, switching gears, the coaching's hot seat turned into a firing squad. Oh, yeah. We'll start with the biggest one of them all. James Franklin is officially out as the Penn State after 12 seasons. Look, it's all right. And I've been saying this for a long time. I think ever since I've started the All Four Downs podcast, is that every time there's always a way to try to squeeze in Penn State as being contenders. But the biggest problem is before we switch to the playoff platform, Penn State has never been really true contenders. They're always third in the Big Ten. They can never get by Ohio State or Michigan. Now, with this playoffs that we started last year, expanding the playoff platform to 12 teams, Penn State squeezed in. And yeah, they did good in the playoffs, but that didn't mean anything. They still lost. They still lost. And now, look, I don't even know how this happened. How you go from being number 2, which I had disagreed, but then to lose 3 straight. It's one thing losing to Oregon, but then you go ahead and give UCLA their first win. Then Northwestern goes in there and wins. I'm like, wow, what is going on? Well, James Franklin got the pink slip, but he's living large. So I don't feel not one bit bad about his firing because he's getting paid nearly $50 million. That's his buyout. Okay. And now Penn State has to go ahead and search for a head coach. But I'm going to tell you this, Penn State was in the verse to be one of the top schools for recruiting for next year. That's not going to happen because many of those top recruits have decommitted to Penn State and it's over. They're going to go elsewhere. And that is bad. There's a big domino effect going on after James Franklin's firing. And I tell you, if there's a school that is willing to pick up James Franklin, those recruits may follow him. Okay. Just saying. Elsewhere, Trent Bray from Oregon State and Trent Dilfer from UAB also got fired this weekend. And I think the biggest one is Oregon State's Trent Bray because 0-7 start. I mean, they didn't give the guy a chance to head coach the school. Let alone this, that Oregon State really doesn't belong to. I mean, they call themselves the Pac-12, but it's a conference with just only 2 teams that might change next year. But if you're not giving him the opportunity to recruit and doing things, I mean, I would love to know more why after 0-7 start that you just fire him. I know they haven't won a game, but still, there's a lot that has to go through it. But again, more coaches are now getting fired midway. They're not waiting till the end. I guess that's the new flavor that's going on in college football. Move over to third down. It's the ranking debate as always. Now, let's discuss the top 10. All right, let's narrow that down. I do have Ohio State and Miami, in which the AP and coaches poll do have as well. Alabama, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Texas Tech, Indiana, Georgia, Notre Dame, and Tennessee. At least that's my top 10 right now. All right, but I don't see Tennessee in any of the top 10s of the AP and coaches poll. Notre Dame, I think they're real deal, but they're going to get tested this weekend. I'll discuss that in the next down. Georgia, number 8. I can see that the coaches poll have them at 7, AP at 9. So I'm in between both things. So I think I'm doing good. The only thing I really am concerned about is Indiana. And I understand that they won big against Oregon. However, be careful. Be careful with the hype. Indiana went undefeated going into the college football playoffs, right? Done. They were done. They were done. They had a great regular season till they met Ohio State. And then it wasn't that pretty. It wasn't that pretty at all. And I get it. They show resilience in Oregon. But then we have to question, is Oregon really at the level of Ohio State? Because Ohio State beat them, right? So I'm like I said, the Big Ten's really the conference that really belongs to Ohio State. And I hate saying that, but it's the truth. So be careful with the hype. Alabama, I got to put some respect into that. A lot of people, most people don't agree with me with Alabama, but Alabama to me, and I said this previously in my podcast, that the head coach, DeBauer, if that's how you pronounce his name, whenever he steps in the second season of any organization, they skyrocket for success. And they had a slow start, and they're persevering. They have great resilience. And yes, looking at that game between Alabama and Missouri, Missouri had a chance to win and create an upset, but the quarterback threw an interception. And it happens in the games, especially when you're pressured. I'll lean more for Alabama at number 3 to point Indiana at number 3. Let's put it that way. No, not much respect for Ole Miss, I guess, because they both rankings have 5 on Ole Miss, but I have them at 4. But they also have a big test this weekend against Georgia, and it's almost feel like a repeat of last year because Ole Miss plays Georgia and then they play Oklahoma, just like last season. All right. So, yeah, I know. I know. I'm assuming and I'm predicting like, yeah, oh my God. Yeah, that did happen, right? So, needless to say, that in the top 10, it's going to be interesting because we are 3 weeks away from the college football committee to make their first announcement at who is the deserving top 25. And most likely, well, and it's not most likely, it's going to guarantee that we'll have at least an outlook on the top 12 going into the college football playoffs. And we're also going to know who are the top 5 conference, right? We're predicting conference champions along with who's going to the college football playoffs. So which conference is the top? As of now, well, let's tune into that too. Let's tune in because actually I can't tune into that yet. I got that one up, but let's break it down by conference here. The Big Ten conference I have is Indiana and Ohio State, both 3-0. But then the one-loss teams, how well are they going to be? How long will Indiana? Can't Ohio State lose in the Big Ten? I mean, besides they play Michigan at the end, can Ohio State get over the hump and beat Michigan? And for Indiana, they're cruising, and I do predict that Indiana will finish in the Big Ten undefeated. And I also predicted that Indiana be in the Big Ten Conference Championship. That is what I do predict. Absolutely. What else? Hmm. Yeah. USC probably. Can Oregon bounce back? There's Michigan. Northwestern? Nah. I'm just looking here. We'll see. I'm curious with Michigan because they've given up more points than making points, right? And then so is Northwestern. So there's a lot going on here. But let's predict that Indiana and Ohio State will be in the Big Ten. And the SEC, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, and Alabama. I do predict Alabama could finish undefeated. They had their chance to get their first loss in the conference. Doesn't seem like it's going to happen. Um, and there's a lot of close calls, especially time management and the management of the game for Georgia when Georgia played Alabama. Scratching my head still. Texas A&M has been here before. They've been contenders, and then at the end of the season, they just fall short. And guess who they play? They play Texas. Absolutely. Okay. Plenty of football. But as of now, Ole Miss, can they beat Georgia this weekend? Can the Aggies maintain? Or is Alabama going to cruise in? And then there's LSU. Can LSU make some noise? I'm not trusting LSU. I'm not. Let's go for the Big 12. Texas Tech Red Raiders, baby. 3-0. And I'm looking at their defense. They're only giving up 38 points in the Big 12 in 3 games. They've scored 111 points. Wow. That's all I'm saying. And then the other one, look, BYU's quietly winning, but Cincinnati, no one's predicted that Cincinnati was going to do so well right now. And here they are. And the Utes are finally waking up. But as of now, it's a 3-way race right now. Let's see who's going to be at the finish line. And in the ACC, Georgia Tech, Virginia, and Duke, ladies and gentlemen. Duke. But let's not forget SMU. SMU were contenders last year in the ACC, right? And then there's Miami, who is about to make their second ACC game this Friday. Just saying. While many predicted Clemson to be in there, Clemson's 2-2 in the ACC, and they're pretty much done and will not be in the college football playoffs. Let's go ahead and move on to 4th down, and this is my prediction. Friday, October 17th. That's right. We got 2 big games going on in college football. We'll start at 7. Louisville visits Miami. Miami coming off the bye week. And Nebraska's on the road against Minnesota. Miami, 1-0, Louisville. This is close. This is dangerous to pick. Louisville's always find a way to be successful when they get the spotlight, and they're gonna get the spotlight on Friday. Miami, on the other hand, the way they ended their game 2 weeks ago left me scratching my head. I'm just curious about that defense. Not worried about the offense because Carson Beck got it going on. But I will pick Miami this Friday. I put my money in there on DraftKings. That's right. I'll put my money in there, make them 2-0 in the ACC. And then Nebraska and Minnesota. I'm taking Nebraska. I'm liking how they're getting their game on. I do believe that Miami and Nebraska will succeed Friday. Um, Anyhow, 2 games. Why not? Enjoy some Friday football. And then Saturday, 5 top games. We'll start in the top left-hand corner. I got Vanderbilt upsetting LSU. Now, Vanderbilt, again, they played well against Alabama. They came out short, but they're home. They're chilling in Tennessee, and LSU is on the road. And while many probably going to pick LSU to win, Vanderbilt is not that school that you want to take lightly. Okay, they're not the same team as, oh, we're playing Vanderbilt. Let's have a bye week now. No, no, no. Vanderbilt, they got it going on. I think they could make a big difference here. And if there's a spread greater than 4 points, you better pick Vanderbilt because they are not going to get annihilated. No way. Vanderbilt, I do predict upset special at home. Fans are going to run through and take that field goal post and carry it out of the stadium. Let's go, Vandy. All right. In the bottom left-hand corner, I have USC versus Notre Dame. Notre Dame 0-2 against the top 25 team. They started out shady, but they look like they're getting their rhythm back. But USC's coming out strong with their win. So USC last victory in South Bend was October 22nd, 2014. That's 11 years ago. They've lost 5 straight with 1 game vacated in South Bend. I tell you, the time is now. If there's anything that I've learned in college football this season, is that most of these teams, they're not ranked on top. They're winning. They are winning. So I am taking USC to upset Notre Dame. Yes, prime time on NBC Peacock. Yeah. All right. In the middle, I got Tennessee and Alabama. It's going to be a great game, but Alabama's going to run away. I'm not going to entertain myself in this game, and I'll be in shock if Tennessee pulls an upset. Alabama has won 9 straight at home versus Tennessee. Make it 10 big ones. All right. Ole Miss versus Georgia. Oh, man. I am scared to make this pick. Georgia lost to Ole Miss last year, 28-10 in Ole Miss. Okay. I'm nervous about this game. I really am. Georgia is banged up. They got their offensive line, defensive line are banged up. Yeah, they got by Auburn. We saw the game. But if there's anything about Georgia is that they keep fighting till the very end. Can't Ole Miss keep fighting? Because Ole Miss at times don't have enough gas in the fourth quarter, but Georgia does. And no matter what the score is, they keep fighting and fighting and fighting. And Georgia is known to shut out opponents in the second half. But this is Ole Miss, and I've given like a lot of praise to Lane Kiffin and his team. And I am going for Georgia because I am a Bulldog fan, but I'm not picking this game. I'll pick as a fan for Georgia, but I will not go on DraftKings to pick this game. And lastly, Utah versus BYU. BYU undefeated, but there's something about Utah that they're going to make a lot of noise in this game. I don't think this is going to be a close game. Utah will take care of business and get up there and give BYU their first loss in the season. Final whistle. That's right. That is it. Another wild week in college football. Big upsets, coaching chaos, and playoff races are heating up because we're 3 weeks away for the official announcement of the college football rankings. And as always, I'll keep you giving you my unfiltered take. No bias, no fluff, just plain old football. So thanks for tuning in to All Four Downs. Don't forget to follow, subscribe, and check us out on 4downs3counts.com or on YouTube, Facebook, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast platform. I'm Ovi1, and this is All Four Downs. See you next week. Oh, yeah.